दास जी का एक बहुत बड़ा संकल्प आज साकार होना शुरू किया है, जिसका श्री गणेश हमारे महामहिम राज्यपाल महोदय के द्वारा उनके कर कमलों से हो रहा है। भारतवर्ष का यह एक गौरवपूर्ण विषय है कि हमारी विद्या, सभी विद्याएं वेद पर आधारित हैं और ये वेद 4 वेदों के रूप में विभक्त हैं और उनमें प्रत्येक वेदों की अनेक शाखाएं हैं। हम जब पातंजल महाभाष्य देखते हैं तो वहाँ भाष्यकार लिखते हैं सहस्रवर्त्मा सामवेद, सामवेद की सहस्र शाखाएं हैं और ये यजुर्वेद की 101 शाखाएं होती हैं। किंतु अभी हम देखते हैं तो अधिक से अधिक 5-6 शाखाएं सभी वेदों के मिल करके अभी जीवित रूप में देख रहे हैं। हमारे विठल दास जी का एक अतिशय महत्वपूर्ण यह एक प्रयास है कि अपने देश के कोने कोने में जाकर के जहाँ वो जिस शाखा की जीवित अवस्था मिली उस सभी शाखाओं को एकत्र संग्रह करके प्रतिष्ठित करना, उनकी रक्षा करना उनका बड़ा संकल्प है। एक विशेषता यहाँ है, वेद पाठ तो अभी भारतवर्ष में अनेक विद्यालयों में चल रहे हैं, उनकी अच्छी तरह से व्यवस्था भी है, किंतु हमारी एक परंपरा है। प्रत्येक व्यक्ति जब अभिवादन करता है तो अभिवादन करते समय अपने गोत्र प्रवर्तक ऋषि का नाम लेता है और अपने वंशज में जितने बड़े बड़े महर्षि हो गए हैं उनको प्रवर कहते हैं, प्रवर का नाम लेता है। तो अपनी परंपरा में अध्ययन की गई शाखा का नाम लेता है और उसके बाद अपना नाम ले करके नमस्कार करता है। ये जो परंपरा है अभी दक्षिण में जीवित है, उत्तर में भी पहले थी, अभी प्रायः लुप्त होने जा रही है। तो इस अनुसार प्रत्येक द्विज की अपनी अपनी शाखा, वेद शाखा एक नियत होती है। आज हम जहाँ वेद पाठशाला देखते हैं तो वहाँ पर इस ओर ज़्यादा ध्यान नहीं दिया गया है, ये हम देखते हैं। लेकिन हमारे विठल दास जी महाराज का यह एक उपक्रम है, जो व्यक्ति जिस शाखा परंपरा में आया हो अपनी ही शाखा का वह अध्ययन करे, उसका पूर्ण दायित्व ले करके यह कार्यक्रम उन्होंने बनाया है। आगे यह जो बड़ा विश्वविद्यालय बनने जा रहा है, ये एक ऐसा विद्यास्थान होगा जहाँ वेदों का पारंपरिक अध्ययन के साथ साथ वेदभाष्य, वेदांग और अनुष्ठान का जो प्रकार है श्रौत विद्या, और उसके साथ ही साथ 6 शास्त्रों का भी एक जगह सम्मेलन मिल हो सकता है। तो इस तरह का यह जो बड़ा उपक्रम है, इस उपक्रम में इनकी सफलता तो भगवान ही कर सकते हैं। इसलिए हम रुक्मिणी समेत भगवान श्री विठल से प्रार्थना करते हुए कि इनका यह उपक्रम आगे बढ़े और अपने उद्देश्य को सफल बनाए, इस तरह की प्रार्थना करते हुए इस भाषण को मैं यही समाप्त करता हूँ। नमस्कार।
धन्यवाद. Thank you, sir. We are all inspired by your gracious presence today. I now request His Holiness Sri Vittal Das Maharaj, founder of Sri Vittal Rukmini Samsthan, to render the presidential address.
पंढरीनाथ महाराज की मृत्युக்குரிய தமிழக ஆளுநர் ஸ்ரீமான் ஆர்.என். ரவி அவர்களுக்கும் அவருடைய தர்மபத்னி ஸ்ரீமதி லேடி கவர்னர் ஸ்ரீமதி லக்ஷ்மி அம்மா அவர்களுக்கும் நம்ம பாண்டுரங்கனுடைய சந்நிதி ஸ்ரீ விட்டல் ருக்மிணி சம்ஸ்தான் சார்பாக அவளுக்கு ஸ்வாகதம் சொல்கிறோம். ஒரு பெரிய சங்கல்பத்தை எப்படி ஆரம்பிக்கிறதுன்னு யோஜனையாக இருந்த காலத்தில் இதை பூமி பூஜை எப்படி ஆரம்பிக்கலான்னு யோஜனை வரும்பொழுதே அவள் கவர்னரை கூப்பிடணும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு எண்ணம் நம்ம குழந்தைகள் எல்லாருக்கும் இருந்தது. ஒரு குழந்தை மாதிரி அவரும் இதுக்கு ஒத்துண்டது ஒரு பெரிய அவருடைய குணத்தை காட்டுறது. அவருடைய ஸ்தானத்துக்கு உள்ள காரியக்கிரமம் இல்லைங்க, இருந்தாலும் அவருக்கு உள்ள இந்த ஸ்ரத்தையினால் இதை அங்கீகரித்து இங்கே வந்து சுவாமி தரிசனம் பண்ணி கோசாலைக்கெல்லாம் தரிசனம் பண்ணி நம்ம வைதிக ஸ்ரத்தையோடு கூட இங்கே பூர்ணாகுதிக்கு இருக்கணும்னா பூர்ணாகுதியை ஒரு ஸ்ரத்தையோடு கூட ஃபைட்ஃபுல் பூர்ணமாக விஸ்வாசத்தோடு அதில் கலந்துட்டார். இங்கே பூமி பூஜைக்கு இந்த கல் எடுத்து கொடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லும் பொழுதும் அந்த பிரார்த்தனையோடு கொடுக்குறார். அந்த அம்மாவும் அவரும் மனப்பூர்வமாக ஒரு பிரார்த்தனையோடு கூட இந்த சிலை எடுத்து கொடுத்தா. இது மாதிரி ஒரு நல்ல மனுஷர்களுடைய ஒரு ஆணுகூல்யம் இருந்ததுன்னா எவ்வளவு பெரிய காரியங்களாக இருந்தாலும் அது சீக்கிரம் சபலமாகிடும். அதுபோல் இன்றைக்கு தினம் நம்ம ராமகிருஷ்ண மடத்திலேருந்து விமூர்த்தானந்த சுவாமிஜி வந்திருக்கார். அப்புறம் காசியில் இருந்துட்டு இப்போ மெட்ராஸ் ஆன்சர் காலேஜில் ஹெச்ஓடியாக இருக்கார் மணி திராவிட சாஸ்திரி, குருநாத கிரபாடிகள். இவர் தான் வேத பாஷ்யம் இங்கே குழந்தைகளுக்கெல்லாம் பாடம் சொல்ல போகிறார். இப்படி பெரிய வித்வான்கள்லாம் சேர்ந்த ஒரு சதஸ் ஒரு 3 நாட்களாக ஒரு பெரிய காரியக்கிரமம் நடக்கிறதுனால அதற்குள்ள ஹோமங்கள்லாம் பல தேவதைகளில் பிரார்த்தனை பண்ணி இந்த ஹோமங்கள்லாம் இங்கே பூர்த்தியாகி இன்றைக்கி பூர்ணாகுதியும் ஆச்சு. இங்கே வந்து கலந்தண்ட ஸ்ரீமான் தமிழ்நாடு கவர்னர் ஸ்ரீமான் ரவி அவர்களுக்கும் ஆர்.என். ரவி அவர்களுக்கும் லேடி கவர்னர் ஸ்ரீமதி லக்ஷ்மி அம்மா அவர்களுக்கும் நம்ம ஆசிரமத்தின் சார்பாக ஒரு கிருதஜதையை தெரிவிச்சு.
Dhanyavad Maharaj. It is always exciting and exhilarating to get to the anticipated part of this ceremony. I now request our Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Ravi sir, to open the placate through the remote from the stage. I request everyone to please take their distinguished chairs. I now humbly request His Excellency Thiru R.N. Ravi sir, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, to render the keynote address.
श्री गुरुवेभ्यो नमः। ब्रह्म श्री जयकृष्ण दीक्षितार श्री विठल दास महाराज जी, भारत सिंह उपन्यास चक्रवर्ती ब्रह्म श्री राम दीक्षितार जी, महामहोपाध्याय ब्रह्म श्री मणि द्रविड़ शास्त्री जी, वेदभाष्य रत्नम ब्रह्म श्री VGS गुरुनाथ गणपाटिकर जी, all the Vedic scholars, students, distinguished invitees, gracious ladies and gentlemen, அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். எனக்கு தமிழ் பேச தெரியாது. என்னை மன்னிக்குங்கள். Excuse me. Mahamahopathyay ji gave a beautiful speech in beautiful Hindi. I was just wondering whether I speak in Hindi or speak in English. I don't know. I think maybe it will be easy for the people to understand why should I speak in English. Someday I will speak in Tamil also. On this auspicious occasion of Bhumi Pujan of this forthcoming grand institution of Vedic learning, Sri Rukmini Vittal Vishwavidyalaya, I extend my warmest greetings and best wishes to all of you. We all know that all the system of knowledge that originated in Bharat, the source is Vedas. Vedic or the Vedas, which was revealed to our rishis, our great sages, several thousand years ago. There are debates and discussions how old it is. But somewhere I was reading that while some say it is 18,000, 20,000 years ago, but there is a general, it seems to be larger consensus is about 6,500 years before the Common Era. So that's about 8,500 years ago. That is on that. Normally scholars, they come around that. It's the most ancient living source of knowledge in the whole world. It has shaped Bharat's Sanskriti and sanskar of every Bharatiya. Literate, illiterate, a scholar or layman, doesn't matter. That sanskar that the person, the Bharatiya, the every Indian has is essentially, it comes from this. We had several hundred years of difficult period when invaders, colonizers who came from outside, besides colonizing this land, they did their utmost to destroy our system of knowledge, our Sanskriti. But through all these ups and downs, through all these difficult centuries, this Sanskriti, this Adhyatma, it remained, it survived. And that is why we call it Sanatana Dharma. It is eternal. Because this a spiritual strength of this dharma is indestructible. There could be eclipses, there could be period of dark period when a certain hour it appears as if the system is under distress, but that strength is so immense, the spiritual strength, that it is indestructible, and that is why, despite nearly 1,000 years of a period of distress, acute distress, this has survived. Today, Bharat, we all feel it and we know it also, that it is awake, it is Jagrat, it is rising, it is awake and rising for a greater responsibility. And this responsibility is to save the humanity, to save our Mother Earth. Because other systems, or call it religion, because I think many of you are far greater scholar, I am not a scholar at all. But religion is not dharma. Dharma is much wider, we all know it. So religions, which system of beliefs and faith that emerged outside Bharat, there is a fundamental problem in that. And that is what is at the root of much of the problem that the world is facing today. In them, they have this anthropocentric view of life, that humans are at the center of creation and the rest of the creation, the Srishti, is for the enjoyment of human being. This is the core belief of the religion that emerged, I won't call them dharma, religion that emerged outside India. And that has led to rampant exploitation of the Mother Earth, and now she is gasping for breath. So this is a big challenge before the world today, to save Mother Earth. And the second challenge is to save the humanity. Of course, when Mother Earth itself is not surviving, humanity cannot. But having protected Mother Earth, we also need to protect humanity. And how do we do that? The only way is this Sanatan Adhyatma, which believes in Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyit Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Here, it doesn't distinguish. No, my limited understanding, perhaps the scholars might correct me, is at the time when the most ancient Veda, the Rig Veda, was revealed, the fundamental truth was that one creator and oneness of creation. The creation, irrespective of the mind-boggling diversities, there are over 7 billion human beings, and no two human beings are alike, forget about other creatures. Beneath all these diversities, there is a common thread. There is a common presence of divinity, not only among humans, but all beings. Now you cannot have a more inclusive darshan or more inclusive adhyatma or dharma than this. It doesn't have us and they, you and I. The problem with this other religions have been, especially the Western, those who originated in Western, that has led to not only exploitation, reckless exploitation of Mother Earth, but also explosion of different ideas and ideologies, different, they mostly at conflict with each other. In Bharat, various sampradayas have come, various sampradayas, numerous, perhaps it's difficult to count. But essentially, though there might be differences in their practices, they might even have adopted their own vocabularies. But essentially, they are all rooted in the Vedic darshan of Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma. And this is at the core. What should Atma be? Should to go towards moksha, nirvana, or whatever you might say. But this basic commonness is there in all the sampradayas of Bharat. There are many. This is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, or the Vedic knowledge. That the Adhyatma that it originated, that it created, that it revealed to the world, to the humanity, it is all inclusive. Now, the world at present, besides the crisis that Mother Earth is facing, the climate crisis, has also, it believes in sovereignty and supremacy of Bhautik Buddhi. This knowledge based on Panchabhuta, which can be perceived, which can be felt through senses. This Bauddhic Buddhi or Adi Bauddhic Buddhi has led to mindless, insane growth of isms, communism, capitalism, socialism, all kinds of isms are all over. And mostly they are at cross with each other. And this Adi Bhautik Buddhi has also given enormous destructive power in the hands of human beings. The nuclear weapon. Wars happening here and there. Never before the humanity was so much capable of self-destruction as it is today. It's primarily because they have all been relying and moving their agenda through one, the whole creation is for my enjoyment, and then dependence on Adi Bhautik Buddhi, that knowledge, that is intellect based on the knowledge of the Panchabhuta. Panchabhuta in the sense the manifestation which we say through the sensory organs. Adhyatma, spirituality, is missing. And that is why in our ancient times, our rishis have always looked at Adi Bhautik Buddhi with certain amount of suspicion. It is important. There is no denial of fact. But it is not complete. Unless it fuses with Adhyatma, where through Sahaj Gyan, through effortless understanding, we start relating with each other. Only then this conflict will disappear like light falling on darkness. Now the world which is in the midst of this crisis, at this point of time, Bharat has a great responsibility to save the Mother Earth and to save the humanity. And Bharat has begun this campaign, if you call it campaign. And in this entire effort, while saving the planet, we all know the initiatives taken by our Prime Minister. How to reduce the carbon footprint. The countries advanced, those who are responsible for the destruction of climate, they are unwilling to come forward. But Bharat took a decision that we will become carbon free by 2070. Now this is not 2017 might appear as if it is a distant thing, but look at what we achieved in the recent past. In 2016, when the Prime Minister said that by 2025, India will produce 100 gigawatt of clean energy, carbon-free energy. This target we achieved September 2021, halfway. At the time when it was announced, people thought it is all incredible, just not possible. But the trust, the belief that we can do it, and we have done it. Now the target is 500 gigawatt by 2030. And I am very confident in the power, in the strength of our people, that midway we will achieve that also. So we are showing by example that we will make this earth safer, Mother Earth safer, by reducing the cause of making it unsafe. Then agriculture, food production. We all need food. Food production has been all through on chemical fertilizers. So much so that we have classic example. Our Punjab, which was the granary of India at one point of time, producing so much food. Today it is becoming arid. Productivity has gone down far below the national average because excessive exploitation through use of excessive chemical fertilizers. Now the initiative and the thrust of the government is organic farming, natural farming. Again, people say it is not viable, it is not commercially not very profitable. No, it will. The earth, to sustain its productivity, it has to have at least 3% of natural organic minerals. It is drastically reduced, and some say that perhaps it has come down to 0.3%. It has to be revived through a commitment, and now there is a greater thrust on organic farming, natural farming, away from. Now this is a way to save Mother Earth. While in other field of science and technology, India is progressing and making marks. In fact, till about 7-8 years ago, when our growth used to be very low, India was growing at a very low pace. All over the world, economists and experts used to call it, well, India cannot grow because it is a cultural issue, and they used to call it a Hindu rate of growth. This is how they will grow. And today, when we are among the fastest growing economy of the world, I do not know what they have to say now. This is the feel, the sense of a new India, new Bharat, Naya Bharat. In 2014, we had hardly 400 startups. 2021, we have crossed 10,000, thanks to our young boys and girls. We are now number 3 in the world in the startups. New ideas, new thoughts, new experiment, fail, experiment again. That's the courage. And over 50 of them are unicorns. Almost about 8,000 crores, more than $1 billion. This is the strength of India. भारत की शक्ति भारत के लोगों में है, जगाने की जरूरत है. We often used to say, as a child, whenever we used to recite Hanuman Chalisa, I used to wonder why. I asked once one Pandit, why do you have to recite this Hanuman Chalisa every time? He says, look, Hanumanji is not he has immense strength. Perhaps he is not even aware of how much strength he has. So sometimes when you recite this, he becomes aware of it. Now this is what is the Bharat, the strength of Bharat. Our people are not aware of what strength they have. And now this is rising. And while Bharat is rising, this responsibility to save it through its spiritual strength is also necessary. This idea, this knowledge, this Adhyatma has to spread. This Adhyatma has to reach out to people beyond Bharat, because there is no difference, it doesn't discriminate, it is all inclusive. And towards this a spiritual resurgence through which Bharat is going through, this university, Sri Rukmini Vittal Das Vishwavidyalaya, is going to be a landmark contribution. Other day, when a distinguished person from this place, he came to invite me for this event. He lamented that nowadays people are less and less number of people are not showing much interest in this Vedic understanding, reading and all this studies. And one reason perhaps is that there is no great hope of livelihood. What do they do after studying this? And now it's the age of materialism. People look for job, look for better livelihood. So what do you earn after reading these Vedas? And so that's the reason, there's a disincentive for it. I was just wondering, is it so? I think the crisis in which the world is today, the world needs it. So it is the only way to save the humanity, save the world. So there is a need. Now how, using the modern terminology, I am using the modern terminology, excuse me for those who don't like to use it, how to convert this need into a demand. This is what we need to work on. How to convert the need which is there, how do you save the world? That you can save the world not through conflict of ideas, not through conflict of ideologies, not through dividing the world between the you and I, us and they, or each equipped with so much of self-destructive power. There are more than almost about 8 to 9 countries which have got nuclear weapons. They can destroy the world many times more. In this, there's no other way than this all-inclusive darshan of Sanatana. So there is a need. Now we have to convert this need into demand. And once this demand is appreciated, then I think our people, those who are studying these Vedas, this knowledge, there will be in a greater demand. Now this is the challenge that we have before us. This is the challenge which I suppose this university, this upcoming Vishwavidyalaya should also address itself. And all the distinguished Vedic scholars present here. A challenge is to transform this need which we all know and we all feel, transform it into a demand, so that demand is not merely just a kind of a economic transaction, or is not a market transaction. What I'm telling is, to save the world, others also have to learn it and also have to appreciate it, and for that to make them inclined towards this is what I'm talking about, demand. It is not a transaction. It is someone wishes to put it in terms of transaction, it's okay, I have no problem. But essentially, it's a spiritual contribution to create this demand. I'm sure, now that we have taken steps towards our journey into the future of a great Bharat, this also will be done, we'll be able to do that. I am very, very happy to be here in the midst of all of you. I feel blessed. I feel the blessings of Lord Vittal and Rukmini. Let their blessings be on this project. This is very ambitious project, but very necessary one. I wish you His blessings on all of you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. That was so inspiring. You have made us all proud of your distinguished work in numerous capacities, and your contribution to the nation is highly significant. You are an inspiration to all of us, sir. Thank you so much. Now we will conclude the event with the vote of thanks. The vision of our Sri Vittal Rukmini Vishwavidyalaya is to further preserve and protect these 12 existing shakas from becoming extinct, and to make people learn and practice the shakas particularly assigned to them. When we speak about preserving and protecting the Vedas, it is very hard to not remember Jagadguru Sri Chandrasekhara Saraswati Mahaswamigal, who we fondly call our Mahaperiva. Being the avatar Purusha that he is, all his life he strived to protect the Vedas. Now after him, walking in his path, Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Pithadipati, His Holiness Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal is continuing the holy dharma of protecting the Vedas. Mahaswami and Sri Vittaldas Maharaj have frequently had deep discussions on this, and with his blessings and grace only, this enormous initiative is taken today. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Ravi sir, for taking his precious time out for us and being here with us today on this very auspicious occasion, along with the Lady Governor, Srimati Lakshmi Ravi. We can't thank you enough for consenting to be our guest of honor today without the least hesitation. That was very kind of you, sir. And I have to mention here that when I had the opportunity and privilege to meet our Honorable Governor, I was so moved by his gesture. The moment I opened the door, I am just a very young boy comparing to his achievements and his sacrifice to the nation. I am nothing in front of sir. The moment I entered the room, he stood up from his seat and he greeted me with his hand folded. I was so moved by his gesture, and when I went and approached sir, he asked me to sit down first, and after that he sat down. This is our Hindu Sanatana Dharma. However high you grow, you still have that respect for the Atiti Deva Bhava. I was so moved, sir. I wanted to thank you on that very day itself. The very presence of the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu in today's event, in spite of his extremely busy schedule, is a reflection of the importance he has attached to the Hindu Dharma. We are very fortunate to have the foundation stone of Sri Vittal Rukmini Vishwavidyalaya laid by you, sir. Thank you so much. All your life you have worked incessantly for the safety and security of people of the country. The whole essence of the Hindu Dharma is hidden in the verse, Manav Seva Hi Madhav Seva. You have dedicated your life to serve the people of the country, and there is no better seva than that, sir. It fills us all with immense pride to have this dharmic initiative by Sri Vittaldas Maharaj inaugurated by you, sir. I would like to put into words my gratitude for the revered scholars and pandits who are blessing this event with their gracious presence. With all humility, I thank Bharata Simmam Upanyasa Chakravarti Brahmashri N. Ramadikshidhar. He is the father of Sri Vittaldas Maharaj, and even today, and sir wanted to tell that today being a Ravivar, Honorable Governor Ravi sir has come. And we all have to be very grateful to Brahmashri and Ramadikshidhar. Anytime we have doubt in the Shastras or in any Dharma, he is our only reference to today. He is 83 above, and any doubt we have in the scriptures or in the Shastras or in the Puranas, he is the only person that we can refer to till date. Mahapadhya Brahmashri Mani Dravid Shastri, sir. Gokulam Goshala with 1,000 odd cows of native breeds. With Maharaj's untiring and enormous effort, we add another gem to the crown of our Vittal Rukmini Samsthan, that is the Shri Vittal Rukmini Vishwavidyalaya. It is our humble wish and dream that just like the how ancient Nalanda University emerged as the leading learning hub for the study of Hindu scriptures and including the Vedas, Yogas, Shastras and Panini's grammar work in the pre-Islamic period, our Sri Vittal Rukmini Vishwavidyalaya should flourish as a holistic learning center for the studies of Vedas and Hindu Dharma. I thank the Almighty, Lord Vittal and Rukmini and Sri Vittal Das Maharaj for making me a part of this wonderful event and giving me an opportunity to speak on this auspicious occasion. Making us all come together for the special occasion is a success in itself. Every drop in the ocean counts. I must not forget to thank all the organizers, members of Samsthan, hosts, volunteers who work tirelessly, and to all the police officers and to all the government officials who had made this event a success, and the audience for being a part of this wonderful event. We couldn't have pulled this off without your patience and support. Thank you all once again for being so patient. Radhe Krishna Namaskaram. Thank you all. Thank you to the press media. Thank you to the media persons for coming here and being so patient. Now I call upon stage I request you all to please stand for the national anthem.